Picture this. You got $9 billion just sitting there doing nothing. What do you even do with that much money? Buy a private island? A mega yacht? Nah. How about the 15 most insanely expensive cars in the world? That's right, we're talking about cars that make a Bugatti look like a bargain. The cheapest ride on this list is a cool $1.7 million, and that's just the start. These cars aren't just expensive, they got features and power you can't even imagine. We're gonna count down the top 15 and show you exactly what makes them worth the crazy price tags. McLaren Elva. Getting off at number 15, we got the McLaren Elva. This bad boy comes in at a cool $1.7 million. But what do you even get for that kind of cash? Well, buckle up, cause this ride is packing some serious heat. First off, the Elva's rocking a twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter V8 engine that's pushing out a whopping 804 horsepower. That's the kind of power that'll make your heart skip a beat. And with only 249 of these beauties ever made, you know you're rolling in something special. But the real kicker? The Elva doesn't even have a roof. That's right, McLaren straight up said, who needs a windshield? They wanted to give you the most raw, in-your-face driving experience possible. And let me tell you, cruising in this thing is like nothing else. So who's dropping $1.70 mil on a car with no roof? We're talking about the ultra-rich, the collectors, the ones who live for that adrenaline rush. They want something that's gonna turn heads and make jaws drop. And the Elva? It delivers on all fronts. This is the kind of car you buy when you've already got a garage full of supercars. It's that next level flex, that I got something you can't even imagine type of ride. And with its insane power and limited production run, the Elva is the definition of exclusive. But McLaren ain't done blowing minds just yet. They got another trick up their sleeve, and it's gonna change the game for hypercars. Koenigsegg Gamera. Guess you heard that right. The Koenigsegg Gamera is the world's first family-friendly hypercar, and it's got a price tag to match at $1.7 million. But this ain't your typical soccer mom SUV. The Gamera is packing some serious firepower under the hood. We're talking about a twin-turbo 2.0-liter engine that's paired up with not one, not two, but 3 electric motors. And when you put all that together, you're looking at a mind-blowing 1,700 horsepower. That's the kind of power that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about family cars. But the Gamera isn't just about raw power, it's also crazy fast. This thing can go from 0 to 60 in a blistering 1.9 seconds. That's faster than most supercars out there. And keep in mind, this is a 4-seater we're talking about. You could take the whole family out for a spin and still leave everyone else in the dust. Speaking of 4 seats, that's what really sets the Gamera apart. Koenigsegg took their hypercar expertise and found a way to cram it into a practical package. Sure, it's still a $1.7 million car, but at least you can bring some friends along for the ride. And if you thought getting your hands on one of these would be easy, think again. Koenigsegg is only making 300 of these bad boys. That's it. So not only do you need the cash to afford it, but you also got to be quick on the draw to snag one before they're all gone. The Gamera is the kind of car that doesn't make sense on paper. A family-friendly hypercar. It sounds like something out of a fever dream, but Koenigsegg found a way to make it a reality. And for the lucky few who can afford it, it's the ultimate way to blend performance and practicality. Hennessy Venom F5. See what we got here? The Hennessy Venom F5. And this thing is all about one thing: speed. And with a price tag of $1.8 million, you know it ain't playing around. So what makes the Venom F5 so special? For starters, Hennessy's on a mission to make this the fastest production car on the planet. They're aiming for a mind-blowing top speed of 311 miles per hour. That's the kind of speed that'll make your eyes water and your cheeks flap in the wind. But to hit those kinds of numbers, you need some serious engineering under the hood, and the Venom F5 delivers with a beast of an engine. We're talking about a twin-turbo 6.6-liter V8 that's putting out a staggering 1,817 horsepower and 1,193 pound-feet of torque. Those are the kind of numbers that'll make you question the laws of physics. And Hennessy knows a thing or two about going fast. They already held the record with the Venom GT, which topped out at 265.7 miles per hour. But that wasn't enough for them. They wanted to push the boundaries even further and create a car that could shatter the 300 miles per hour barrier. But hitting those speeds isn't just about raw power. You need a car that's aerodynamic and stable enough to handle it. And that's where the Venom F5's design comes in. Every curve and line on this thing is crafted with the sole purpose of slicing through the air like a hot knife through butter. Of course, a car like this doesn't come cheap, and with only a handful of Venom F5s ever being made, it's the definition of exclusive. This is the kind of ride you buy when you've got money to burn and a need for speed that just won't quit. But as insane as the Venom F5 is, it's not even the most exclusive car on our list. That honor goes to a ride that's so rare you've probably never even heard of it, and with a price tag that'll make your jaw hit the floor. It's the kind of car that's reserved for the 1% of the 1%. Bentley Balar. Moving on to something more exclusive, Bentley Balar, and this thing takes limited edition to a whole new level. Only 12 of these bad boys were ever made, that's right, just 12. So if you're one of the lucky few who managed to snag one, congrats, you're part of a seriously elite club. But what do you get for your $1.9 million? Well, for starters, you're looking at a 6.0-liter W12 engine that's been turbocharged to the moon. We're talking 650 horsepower here. That's the kind of power that'll pin you back in your seat and make you question your life choices. But it's not just about the raw power with the Balar. Bentley's Mulliner division, the folks who specialize in custom coach building, put their magic touch on this thing. Every curve, every line, every stitch of leather is crafted to perfection. It's like driving a piece of art that just happens to have a monster engine under the hood. And speaking of art, each Balar is a unique masterpiece. Bentley lets the owners go wild with customization. You want a specific shade of paint? Done. You want your initials stitched into the headrests? No problem. When you're dropping this kind of cash, you get to call the shots. But here's the kicker. If you're thinking about snagging one of these beauties, you're already too late. Bentley says every single Balar is already in the hands of its lucky owner. That's the kind of exclusivity you're dealing with here. It's the automotive equivalent of a golden ticket. So what do you do if you've got $1.9 million burning a hole in your pocket and a need for something truly special? Well, you could always hope that one of those 12 owners decides to flip their Balar. But let's be real, would you give up a car like this if you were lucky enough to have one? The Balar is the kind of car that's more than just a vehicle. It's a statement. It's a way to show the world that you're not just rich, you're in a league of your own. And with only a dozen of these things roaming the streets, you're guaranteed to turn heads wherever you go. But if you thought the Balar was the pinnacle of automotive exclusivity, think again. There's another contender out there that's pushing the boundaries of what's possible, not just in terms of rarity, but in terms of raw, unbridled speed. SSC Tuatara. Coming up next, we've got the SSC Tuatara, and this thing is all about pushing the limits of what's possible on four wheels, and with a price tag of $2 million, you know it ain't messing around. So what makes the Tuatara so special? Well, for starters, this beast has clocked in at a mind-blowing 282.9 miles per hour. That's the kind of speed that'll make your eyeballs flatten against the back of your skull. We're talking about a car that's so fast, it could outrun a commercial jet on takeoff. But hitting those kinds of speeds takes more than just a big engine. The folks at SSC have poured some serious engineering into this thing. They've used something called computational fluid dynamics to fine-tune the aerodynamics, resulting in a drag coefficient that's lower than a snake's belly in a wagon rut. And speaking of the engine, the Tuatara is packing some serious heat under the hood. We're talking about a twin-turbo 5.9-liter V8 that's cranking out a jaw-dropping 1,750 horsepower when it's sipping on that high-octane E85 juice. That's the kind of power that'll make you question the laws of physics. But SSC hasn't just focused on raw speed, they've also made sure the Tuatara is light on its feet. The chassis and body are crafted entirely from carbon fiber, which means this thing weighs in at a svelte 2,750 pounds. That's like strapping a rocket engine to a go-kart. And when you're hitting speeds that could outrun a cheetah on a straightaway, you need a suspension that can keep up. The Tuatara's got a fully adjustable setup that lets you dial in the handling to your liking. Whether you're carving up the curves or blasting down the highway, this thing is ready to dance. Inside, the Tuatara is all about business. The cockpit is decked out in high-end materials like leather and Alcantara, but they've kept things minimal to shave off every ounce of weight they can. This is a car that's built for speed, not luxury. Of course, with only 100 of these beasts roaming the earth, the Tuatara is about as exclusive as it gets. It's the kind of car that's reserved for the elite of the elite, the folks who don't just want to go fast, they need to go faster than anyone else. But as impressive as the Tuatara is, it's not the only contender in the race for top speed supremacy. There's another player out there that's looking to give the Tuatara a run for its money, and it's doing it without a drop of gasoline. Lotus OFA. Alright, so we've seen some seriously fast gas guzzlers, but what about the electric side of things? Well, hold on to your hats, folks, because the Lotus OFA is about to blow your mind. This thing is packing nearly 2,000 horsepower, all coming from 4 electric motors. That's the kind of power that'll make you forget all about those dinosaur-burning engines. Now, I know what you might be thinking. 2,000 horsepower in an electric car? No way. But the OFA is the real deal. It's not just about the power though. Lotus is only making 130 of these things for the road. That's right, just 130. So if you manage to snag one, you're not just driving an insanely fast car, you're driving a piece of automotive history. But how does the OFA stack up against the traditional hypercars? Well, for starters, it's got that instant torque that electric motors are known for. No waiting for turbos to spool up or revs to climb. You put your foot down and this thing just goes. It's like being shot out of a cannon, but without all the smoke and noise. And let's talk about that price tag for a second. At $2.1 million, the OFA ain't cheap. But when you compare it to some of the other hypercars out there, it starts to look like a bit of a bargain. I mean, sure, it's still an absurd amount of money, but for what you're getting, it's almost a steal. But the OFA isn't just about raw speed and power, it's also a showcase of Lotus's engineering prowess. They've gone all in on the aerodynamics with a design that's sleek and slippery like a bar of soap in a prison shower, and the battery tech, let's just say it's cutting-edge stuff. Lotus isn't messing around here. Now, I know some of you purists out there might be skeptical about an electric Lotus. After all, this is the brand that built its reputation on lightweight, agile sports cars. But times are changing, and Lotus is changing with them. The OFA is a bold step into the future, and if this is what that future looks like, sign me up. Ferrari Daytona SP3. Even though we've seen some serious speed demons and electric marvels, but now it's time for a true legend to take the stage. Coming in at number 8, we've got the Ferrari Daytona SP3, and this thing is a work of art on wheels. But don't let its stunning looks fool you, because under the hood, it's packing some serious heat. We're talking about a 6.5-litre V12 engine that's cranking out a mind-blowing 828 horsepower. That's the kind of power that'll make your heart skip a beat and your palms start sweating. And when you put your foot down, this thing takes off like a rocket ship. It's not just about raw power though. Ferrari has also worked their magic on the aerodynamics. In fact, they're claiming that the Daytona SP3 is their most aerodynamically efficient model ever. And get this, they've done it without using any active aero elements. That's right, no fancy flaps or wings that move around, just pure, unadulterated design genius. It's the kind of engineering that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about how air flows over a car. But the Daytona SP3 isn't just about pushing the limits of what's possible. It's also a celebration of Ferrari's incredible legacy. This car is a tribute to some of the most iconic Ferrari race cars of the past, like the legendary P3/4 that dominated the 24 Hours of Daytona back in 1967. And when you look at the Daytona SP3, you can see those classic lines and curves, but with a modern twist. It's the kind of car that'll make you fall in love with driving all over again. And with a price tag of $2.3 million, it's also the kind of car that'll make your bank account cry for mercy. But hey, if you've got the cash and the need for speed, the Daytona SP3 is the ultimate way to indulge your passion. Now, as impressive as the Daytona SP3 is, it's not the only car out there that's pushing the boundaries of what's possible. In fact, there's another contender on this list that's taking a totally different approach to speed and power. It's not about big V12 engines or classic Italian design. No, this car is all about the future, and it's got the electric power to prove it. Remac NAA. So you thought the Lotus OFA was impressive? Well, hold on to your hats, folks, because the Remac NAA is about to take electric hypercars to a whole new level. This Croatian masterpiece is packing a mind-blowing 1,914 horsepower, all coming from 4 electric motors. That's like having 4 Teslas strapped together, but with way more style and a price tag that'll make your eyes water. Now, I know what you're thinking. 1,914 horsepower in an electric car? That's just ridiculous. And you're absolutely right, it is ridiculous, but that's what makes the Nevera so special. Rimac isn't just pushing the boundaries of what's possible with electric powertrains, they're completely redefining them. So what does 1,914 horsepower get you in the real world? Well, for starters, it gets you from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 2 seconds. That's not just fast, that's hold on to your lunch fast. It's the kind of acceleration that'll make you question your sanity and your life choices. But hey, if you're dropping $2.4 million on a car, you might as well get your money's worth, right? But the Nevera isn't just about raw speed, it's also a showcase of just how far electric vehicle technology has come in recent years. Rimac has stuffed this thing with the latest and greatest in battery tech, and it shows. The Nevera can go over 400 miles on a single charge, which is pretty impressive for a car that can hit 258 miles per hour. And let's talk about that top speed for a second, 258 miles per hour in an electric car. That's the kind of speed that'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew about EVs. The Nevera isn't just fast, it's scary fast, and it's all thanks to those 4 electric motors which deliver power to each wheel independently. So how does the Nevera stack up against the other cars on this list? Well, it's hard to compare apples to oranges, but let's give it a shot. The Nevera's 1,914 horsepower puts it in a league of its own when it comes to electric hypercars. The Lotus OFA, which we talked about earlier, only has around 2,000 horsepower, and the Ferrari Daytona SP3, which is a gas-powered beast, can't even come close to the Nevera's 0-60 time. But the Nevera isn't just about numbers, it's about pushing the envelope and showing the world what's possible when you combine cutting-edge technology with a whole lot of money and a team of brilliant engineers. Rimac has created something truly special with the Nevera, and it's going to be fascinating to see how it influences the future of the hypercar market. Pagani Utopia. Pagani Utopia is about to take things to a whole new level of insanity. This thing is a work of art on wheels, and it's got the power to back it up. We're talking about 852 horses under the hood, all channeled through a 7-speed manual gearbox. That's right, a manual in a hypercar. Pagani isn't messing around here. But what really sets the Utopia apart is just how powerful it is compared to Pagani's other road-going models. With 852 horsepower and an available 7-speed manual gearbox, the Utopia is the most powerful road-going Pagani ever produced, and it's limited to just 99 examples worldwide. That's some serious exclusivity right there. But the Utopia isn't just about raw power. It's also a masterclass in automotive design. Horacio Pagani, the man behind the brand, is known for his obsessive attention to detail and his ability to blend form and function in a way that's just mind-blowing. The Utopia is no exception. It's got curves in all the right places, and every single line and surface has been carefully crafted to create a sense of speed and elegance. But what really sets the Utopia apart is the artistry that goes into every single car. Each one is handcrafted by a team of skilled artisans who pour their heart and soul into every stitch, every bolt, and every carbon fiber panel. It's the kind of attention to detail that you just don't see in mass-produced cars, and it's what makes the Utopia so special. Of course, all that exclusivity and craftsmanship comes at a price. The Utopia will set you back a cool $2.5 million, which puts it firmly in the realm of the ultra-wealthy. But for those lucky 99 individuals who managed to snag one, it's a small price to pay for automotive perfection. Lamborghini Countach. Talking about cars, Lamborghini just dropped a bombshell on the hypercar world with the revival of an absolute legend, the Countach. This ain't your grandpa's Countach though. Nah, this is the Countach LPI 800. 4, and it's packing some serious heat under the hood. We're talking about a 6.5-litre V12 engine that's got a little something extra, a hybrid assist that helps it crank out a mind-blowing 803 horsepower. That's right, 803 horsepower in a car that looks like it's straight out of a poster on your childhood bedroom wall. It's like Lamborghini took a time machine back to the 70s, grabbed the Countach, and then teleported it to the future and gave it a high-tech makeover. But the Countach isn't just about raw power. Nah, this thing's got a legacy that's richer than Jeff Bezos's bank account. The Countach name is iconic, man. It's one of the most recognized Lamborghini models of all time, and for good reason. When the original Countach debuted back in the 70s, it was like nothing anyone had ever seen before. It was low, wide, and had edges sharper than a samurai sword. It was the poster child for the term wedge design, and it set the standard for what a supercar could be. So when Lamborghini announced that they were bringing the Countach back, the automotive world collectively lost its mind. But this isn't just some half-hearted tribute. Nah, the new Countach LPI 800 4 is based on Lamborghini's Aventador model, which means it's got the pedigree to back up its looks. And speaking of looks, can we just take a moment to appreciate how drop-dead gorgeous this thing is? It's like the original Countach had a love child with a spaceship, and then that love child hit the gym and got absolutely shredded. The lines are crisp, the angles are aggressive, and the whole thing just screams, I'm faster than you and I look better doing it. But the Countach LPI 800 4 isn't just a pretty face, it's got the performance to match. Remember that 803 horsepower we talked about earlier? Well, it helps the Countach rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2.8 seconds. That's faster than most people can say Lamborghini Countach LPI 800 4. And if you keep your foot on the gas, this thing will keep pushing all the way to a top speed of over 220 miles per hour. It's no wonder that collectors and performance enthusiasts are falling over themselves to get their hands on one of these bad boys. With only 112 units being produced, the Countach LPI 800 4 is about as exclusive as it gets. And with a price tag of $2.6 million, it's not exactly what you'd call affordable. But hey, if you've got the cash and you want to own a piece of automotive history that's been given a high-tech twist, the Countach LPI 800 4 is the way to go. Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300. Bugatti just broke the mold and shattered expectations with the Chiron Supersport 300 Plus. This ain't your average hypercar. No, sir. This beast is a celebration of Bugatti's mind-blowing achievement of busting through the 300 miles per hour barrier like it was nothing. Let's rewind for a sec. Back in 2019, Bugatti had the whole car world buzzing when they dropped the bombshell that a souped-up Chiron had blasted past 300 miles per hour, hitting a wild 304.8 miles per hour on the track. That's faster than most people can even comprehend. And now they've taken that record-breaking ride and turned it into a road-going machine that's ready to tear up the streets. But here's the crazy part. The Chiron Supersport 300 Plus is limited to just 30 units worldwide. That means only a select few lucky individuals will ever get to experience the rush of owning one of these speed demons. And trust me, it's a rush like no other. When you lay eyes on the Chiron Supersport 300 Plus, you can tell right away that it's built for speed. It's got this slick, aerodynamic body that looks like it was sculpted by the wind itself. The flowing lines and distinctive stripe motif ain't just for show. They're all about minimizing drag and maximizing velocity. This thing is a work of art that's meant to go fast, plain and simple. Now, I know what you might be thinking. If this car can hit 304.8 miles per hour on the track, why is it limited to just 273 miles per hour on the road? Well, let me tell you, 273 miles per hour is still mind-bogglingly fast. That's the kind of speed that'll make your cheeks flap and your eyeballs pop out of your skull. And besides, Bugatti's all about pushing boundaries, but they also want to make sure their cars are safe and street legal. So how did Bugatti pull off this insane feat of engineering? It all comes down to some serious technological wizardry under the hood. The Chiron Supersport 300 Plus is packing a quad-turbocharged 8.0-litre W16 engine that cranks out a staggering 1,577 horsepower. That's like having a whole herd of wild stallions raring to go at your command. But it's not just about raw power. Bugatti's got a reputation for pushing the limits of what's possible in the automotive world, and the Chiron Supersport 300 Plus is the latest example of their boundary-breaking prowess. This car is a testament to Bugatti's unwavering commitment to speed, luxury, and innovation. Bugatti Cento. Just when you thought Bugatti couldn't get any more exclusive, they go and drop the Cento on us. This thing is so rare, you've got a better chance of spotting a unicorn in the wild than seeing one of these bad boys on the street. Why? Because Bugatti's only making 10 of them. That's right, just 10. But the Cento ain't just about being scarce. Nah, this hypercar is a rolling tribute to Bugatti's legendary EB110 and a celebration of the brand's 110th anniversary. The name Cento literally means 110 in Italian. It's like Bugatti's way of saying, yeah, we've been around for over a century and we're still killing the game. Now, let's talk about what makes the Cento so special. Under the hood, you've got an 8.0-litre quad-turbo W16 engine that pumps out a staggering 1,577 horsepower. That's enough power to make the Earth rotate backwards. And with a top speed of 236 miles per hour, this thing is faster than a cheetah on steroids. But it's not just about raw power. The Cento is a work of art on wheels. The design is a nod to the iconic EB110, but with a modern twist that'll make your jaw drop. The sharp lines, the aggressive stance, the unique rear wing, it's like the Cento was sculpted by the gods of speed themselves. And if you thought the exterior was impressive, wait until you peek inside. The interior is a masterclass in luxury and craftsmanship. Every surface is covered in the finest materials money can buy, from the supple leather seats to the high-tech dashboard. It's like sitting in a five-star hotel suite that just happens to have wheels. But here's the thing. The Cento isn't just a hypercar, it's a piece of Bugatti history. For collectors and die-hard fans of the brand, owning one of these is like having a piece of the Bugatti legacy parked in your garage. It's a status symbol that says, I appreciate the finer things in life and I've got the bank account to prove it. Of course, all this exclusivity and craftsmanship comes at a price, and by price I mean a whopping $9 million. That's right, $9 million for a car, but hey, if you've got that kind of cash lying around, why not spend it on something that'll make you feel like a king every time you slide behind the wheel? But just when you thought you'd seen the pinnacle of automotive extravagance, there's another player on the field that's ready to blow your mind. It's a one-off creation that redefines what it means to be a luxury car. RollsRoyce Boattail. Introducing the RollsRoyce Boattail, a one-of-a-kind masterpiece that redefines what it means to be a luxury car. This ain't your grandpa's Rolls, folks. The Boattail is a custom creation that was commissioned by a private client who wanted something that was truly unique in every sense of the word. The inspiration for this bad boy comes from the client's love for classic and modern yachts. You can see that nautical theme shining through in the design, with a panoramic glass roof that stretches from the front to the back, giving you a clear view of the sky above. And when you take a look at the rear end, it tapers off like the stern of a yacht, complete with a custom luggage set that fits perfectly in the trunk. It's like having your own personal yacht on wheels. But the real magic happens when you step inside. The interior is decked out with high-end materials like Macassar ebony and Paldau wood, and the leather upholstery is so soft, you'll feel like you're sitting on a cloud. But here's the kicker, the center console features a champagne chiller that deploys a bottle of the client's favorite bubbly and 2 crystal flutes at the touch of a button. Talk about living the high life. Every little detail in the Boattail is tailored to the client's tastes, from the custom-designed dashboard to the unique analog clock made from the finest materials. It's a showcase of what's possible when you combine the pinnacle of luxury with the art of craftsmanship. And with a price tag of $12.8 million, it's a reminder that for the ultra-rich, the sky's the limit when it comes to personalizing their rides. But the Boattail isn't just a car, it's a statement piece. It's a way for the wealthy elite to show off their status and their appreciation for the finer things in life. When you roll up in a Boattail, you're not just driving a car, you're making a statement that you've got the cash to commission your own one-of-a-kind creation. So, what could possibly top the RollsRoyce Boattail? Well, rumor has it that there's another contender in the running for the title of most expensive car in the world. Bugatti La Voiture Noire. Talking about Bugatti La Voiture Noire, a car so exclusive and expensive, it makes the Sweeptail look like a bargain. This thing is the definition of a one-off masterpiece with a price tag that'll make your head spin. A cool $13.4 million. That's right, $13.4 million for a single car. But when you're Bugatti, you don't just slap a hefty price tag on any old ride. No, the La Voiture Noire is something special. Under the hood, you'll find a quad-turbocharged 8.0-liter W16 engine that churns out a mind-boggling 1,479 horsepower. That's the same powerhouse you'll find in the Bugatti Chiron. But in the La Voiture Noire, it's been tuned to perfection. This car isn't just fast, it's a speed demon that'll leave everything else in the dust. But it's not just about raw power. The La Voiture Noire is a work of art with a design that's inspired by the legendary Type 57 SC Atlantic. This classic car is considered one of the most beautiful and valuable in automotive history, and Bugatti's paying homage to it with the La Voiture Noire. You can see the influence in the sleek lines, the aggressive stance, and the overall aesthetic that just screams luxury. And then there are the details. The La Voiture Noire features radical new wheels, an aggressive bespoke fascia, and get this, a gigantic light-up badge in the rear that spells out the name of the brand. It's like Bugatti's saying, yeah, we built this, and we want everyone to know it. Even the exhaust tips are a work of art, with 6 of them adding to the car's unique and aggressive look. But here's the thing, the La Voiture Noire isn't just a hypercar, it's the ultimate expression of luxury and exclusivity. Bugatti's only making one of these bad boys, which means if you want one, you're out of luck. The lucky owner of this masterpiece is a mystery, but one thing's for sure, they've got one of the most exclusive rides on the planet. So, what do you get when you combine the pinnacle of automotive engineering with the kind of exclusivity that only the ultra-wealthy can afford? You get the Bugatti La Voiture Noire, a car that redefines what it means to be a luxury hypercar. But even with its $13.4 million price tag, the La Voiture Noire might not hold the title of the most expensive car for long. RollsRoyce Boattail. Feast your eyes on the RollsRoyce Boattail, a car so exclusive and expensive it makes the La Voiture Noire look like a Toyota Camry. First off, let's talk about that price tag. $28 million. That's right, you heard me correctly. $28 million for a single car. That's more than most people will make in a lifetime and then some. But when you're talking about the most luxurious car on the planet, money ain't no thang. So what do you get for that kind of cash? Well, for starters, you get a car that's basically a yacht on wheels. The Boattail is named after the tapered rear end that looks like, you guessed it, the stern of a boat. But that's just the beginning of the nautical theme. The exterior is a work of art with a two-tone color scheme that'll make you do a double take. The front end is finished in a deep, rich blue, while the rear is a stunning crystal-like white. It's like the car is wearing a tuxedo and it's ready for a night out on the town. But the real party trick is in the back. The Boattail features a hosting suite that's straight out of a James Bond movie. Pop open the trunk and you'll find a champagne fridge, a set of custom-made cocktail tables, and get this, a parasol that automatically deploys to keep you shaded while you sip on your bubbly. It's like having a luxury picnic basket built right into your car. And if you thought the exterior was impressive, wait until you see the interior. The lucky owner of this one-of-a-kind ride gets to work with Rolls-Royce to create a completely custom cabin that's tailored to their every whim. We're talking high-end materials, bespoke finishes, and all the bells and whistles you could ever dream of. But here's the thing. The Boattail isn't just a car for the ultra-wealthy, it's a car for the ultra-wealthy. We're talking about the kind of people who have private jets, yachts, and maybe even their own island. This is the car you buy when you've got more money than you know what to do with. So, is the Rolls-Royce Boattail worth the $28 million price tag? Well, that depends on who you ask. For most of us, it's an absurd amount of money to spend on a car.